Good afternoon, and welcome to the risk neutral trading Globex. This we're going to have a real volatile open here. First of all, I've rolled the contracts to the U contract, so the rollover is official. And there's a bunch of news out about a deal signed for Iran, so I'm expecting there's probably going to be some potential action. In fact, I have already activated the trade control panel just in case. All right. So having said all of that, welcome to Risk Neutral Trading Globex Edition. This is my virtual trading journal. The idea here is that I capture everything on my primary trade screens on the video, and my voiceover here provides insight as to what I was thinking at the moment. So that makes for a complete journal, and it is absolutely transparent and 100% accountable. So there you go. It's ticking up, but I am certainly not gonna go there. It's too volatile, and this is the U contract, and there's no liquidity. I repeat, no liquidity. We're talking 4s and 5s. So the U contract must be the one, or the M contract still must be trading. Unfortunately, I would like to, how often do we have an opportunity to trade a deal on the end of a war? But I don't think that this is going to be the case. Now, having said all of the above so far, it's important to point out this is not for trader financial advice. It is my trading journal, and I share it openly for accountability. Certainly not for trade advice. The idea, actually, it's certainly not my way or the highway either. The goal here is for interaction via chat and to improve together. So there we have it. Now, you see the open. You see I'm on the U contract. I've already set up the hedge, but I'm not going to go there just in case, okay? I wanted to see in case what was going to happen. And there was a flurry up here to the new price, and you'll see that there's no liquidity laying in here at any of these levels. So I'm not going to what I was leaning on or hoping for here was God damn cat here everywhere. Sorry about that. All right, so let's look over here at the news so far. So this is myinvesting.com, which is my basic news source. This is for tomorrow because we're trading Monday, all right? Everybody knows that, I hope. And there's really no big news events tomorrow to worry about. So this geopolitical thing has got the cake, obviously. And, these kind of this stuff here, and official signing in Switzerland on Friday, and all this kind of stuff. Assuming these things are true, and now we're going to start seeing the Iran comments. I haven't read through them yet because they've been unfolding as we're standing here as we open. So we're going to have to check this out together. But that's where we are. Well, here, it's being controlled in coordination with Oman, and Trump is busy telling everybody he authorizes, and I'm not sure he has the horsepower to authorize what goes on over there, but maybe. That's been the problem all along. It's so much posturing and kind of spinning or drama or whatever, it's been sort of hard to pick a who's telling the truth out, you know. So that's pretty bizarre, but what it is. Again, this is investing.com. My news sources are filtered. You can filter for wherever you are. Investing.com only deals with typical economic calendar events. These are those scheduled for Monday, tomorrow morning. You can see that the U.S. only has a couple: Empire State and industrial production. Neither are 3-star. Notice that the event title changes to a URL when you hover over it. So if you want to know what this is, you can click that link and find out all about it. Financial Juice is what we were just looking at, because it's got more of a squawk box affair going on over here. And they do have there's no instance of it or example here, but they do tend to pull any kind of non-traditional economic thing, but an event which may have a risk potential to the auction over here into their calendar. So I appreciate that. So we can read through some of these. And this is Financial Juice. And by the way, in case I didn't point it out yet, both of these are free. And I keep them that way so that anybody that comes to the stream can have the same resources that I do. Okay. Let's get on with the next one. Now I've rolled, and what does that mean? Well, it means that we have moved to the U contract, and it will expire in September. The June contract is U. We rolled from the M to the U contract. The official roll date for the CME is the 15th, which is tomorrow, but remember, we're trading tomorrow's data. Now, this is the craziness of the takeoff here, so I'm going to need to do some stuff on that. You notice that we're trading up here at 75s, we're trading up in the 90s. Here is something that you may be interested in. What's going on here? There you are. This is the M contract, and these are the U contract for both the MES, and the MNQ. So you can get some idea about the volume and the settlement prices. It was 62.50 was the roll increase. So you add 60. If you have any levels, I have a system that pulls this stuff over here to the micro composite column, and those values. What you do is export the values that are here, and then you increase them by 62.50, or the difference in the roll amount, and re-import them, and this is what you get. And let me see. Now, first of all, I'm going to deactivate this trade so that I don't make a stupid mistake here. And if that's active and you click anywhere accidentally in this column, you got a big problem on your hands. You can see that how these are pulled into the activity here. I want to now. I've done these over the weekend, and I'm, half the time tired or whatever else. Let's make sure they're correct. What I want to see here, MCVPOC is 7502 half. That was put in on 12th of June. You can see the info box down here. Any mouse, any candle that I hover over gives you the stats for that candle. So the 12th of June, that is 7502 half. And remember, this is my micro composite chart. So let's just look down here at 7502 half, and there we are. Isn't that cute? Okay. Now, let's get back to the basic. Now that I got that, I just wanted to confirm some of these numbers because I pushed the session prices to everybody in T-Lab and wherever, and I want to make sure that they're correct. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? What do you want to come go here? You want to go there? Or do you want to get to the window? Okay. Talking to the cat, talking to the T-Lab, talking. Sorry about that. And just kind of a bit disoriented tonight because of the roll and the new trade, and yeah, okay, everything looks on track. So let's get back over here. I'm going to now, this is Investor RT, which is my basic charting package, and this is where the session prices, the high and low volume nodes, all push to are pushed to bookmap, and some of these trade zones or trade levels are pushed to bookmap from IRT. So I want to make sure this stuff is working okay, because there's a lot of people in the T-Lab and around that use these session prices. Use my session prices. I guess they're mine. And by the way, they're free. So if you could use them for anything, you know, just drop something in the chat that you could use. Would like the session prices. And for the instrument MES or whichever, and I'll hook you up. No problem. Happy to do that. All right, now I'm going to reload this data. See all these up and down deals here? It's having a hard time figuring that out. So let's download the data here again. This is how you do it on book IRT. While it's thinking about that, a couple of things to point out. First of all, on all of the windows in IRT, in the header, you see the instrument, the chart type, the periodicity, and the session. Okay, that's important. Then this is the micro ES. This is the micro NQ. This is my micro ES high time frame chart or micro composite chart. And this is the market profile. Now, this is the gap up. Okay. On the roll. And you notice we're trading the roll over here. Okay. Do the same thing now down here. Hopefully that worked. In the meantime, the micro composite chart here is, again, the MES daily time frame RTH session only. Meaning, each one of these candlesticks is a complete. What's this all about? This is bullshit here. I don't know why this. having a problem getting its act together, but we'll see if it straightens out. It's okay over here. Wherever price overlaps, I pull this volume profile around them, and that's called the microcomposite volume profile, and that automatically generates a microcomposite VPOC. Oh, hi, buddy. See ya. Big cat Lucky came to visit. Panda's not here yet. Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, he likes to get up here on the. These are two stand-up desks, and they just happen to be window height. So he's pretty content to lay up here and look out the window. Yeah. So we have a little bit of a goofball situation going on right here. Obviously, this needs to be aligned from here. You know, we'll get that straightened out in a minute. And this is the, I don't know if I said it yet, but this is market profile. And you notice where we opened up here. Oh, it's just doing the math over here now, so it's okay. Oh, wait a minute. What the hell is that? That doesn't look very right, does it? Yeah. Okay. So here's our open, and here we trade at the moment. Now the market profile, I don't change from RTH to full session. I mean I do change that, but I don't change it from ES to MES. This is always going to be the ES or the NQ, whichever. And let's see here. So these high and low volume nodes represented by the red and green lines push automatically to Bookmap, as do the session prices. Now I'm going to have to do some. And if you look over here at Bookmap, which is my execution platform, first thing we're going to do is wake Blue Boy up and get his monkey butt over here. Come on, buddy. There you go. Blue Boy. I joke, but it's really important to me. This is obviously, as you saw, just a vertical line. I put it on the first print of each session. As the session progresses, if I glance left and I can see that blue line, and I know that this is the current active at the moment inside market, that tells me I have the entire session in view. No question about it. And that means I understand context, and that's really important in trading. All right. Now, a couple other things with Bookmap here quickly. This is the micro composite column where I drag or input the information from here, namely the POC and the high and the low, the naked volume pointer control, and that sort of thing. Over here. And I type those in. These are the high and low volume nodes, which are pushed automatically. They're the values represented by these red and green lines, just a high and a low volume node of the most current micro composite volume profile. And if you want to see the naked volume points of control, there you go. Isn't that cute? All right, so we have that. Now, there's nothing printing here, right? Because this is the RTH session only. So this is Friday. All right, that's important to understand. Then over here in Bookmap, we have the full session volume profile, which started plotting now at 1700 and will continue through 1600 tomorrow afternoon. This is the Globex or the full session. This is not the ETH. It will not reset at stop at 8:30 in the morning. By the way, all the times that I refer to and that are on my charts or down here on the bottom of my computer, I also notice that I stream the entire monitor, not just the application. So you always can tell what programs I have open if I'm trying to do some tricky business with multiple copies of something, which I hear people do. Also, you can see the session, hours, minutes, seconds, and the date. Tie that back here to the date, current active date in the charting, and you know just what's up. Also, you can see that it's live, real trading, live data, real trading. This is rhythmic data on both machines. I mean, being both platforms, both IRT and Bookmap. I execute on Bookmap, chart on IRT. Anyway, so now we go. Now this is the RTH volume profile and delta, and because it's a new contract, it's just getting started, right? So it's just basically the same that we have. This will reset differently tomorrow at 8:30. These will reset, and this is the statistics column, which is very important. And we during the pre-market RTH stream here at Risk Neutral Trading, which is at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time every trading day morning until 1500 in the afternoon. That's 7 hours. The reason for that is I have a firm, absolute commitment to take no trades off of stream. That's why I'm doing these Globex, because I want to investigate if the Globex opening range trades are of any interest to me, and I don't want to see an opportunity present itself and not be able to trade it. That's why this stream started happening 2 weeks ago. For years now, it's been the Globex, it's been the RTH session, and that's when we pull these prices together. And these session prices, we will determine the open type for the statistical open type tomorrow morning before 8:30. We will go to the study and get the statistics associated with, or the probability associated with the session prices. In other words, what's the probability in the upcoming RTH session tomorrow of the overnight volume point of control being revisited by price? We will put that data in before the open. These are then the session prices, and this is the order book or the liquidity. I don't have a dome here anymore. Too many columns, too much space, and I trade with the mouse here on the chart. So these are resting liquidity or limit orders at every price, and this is the price ladder. Now, notice that there are no indicators on my Bookmap or my IRT. There are simply POC, which is the point of control, and all that is actually a marker of the price at which the most contracts have traded so far in the session. So far, there's been 692 contracts trade at 63.5, period. The minute one of the other contracts trades 693, one of the prices, the POC will move there. That's that simple. There's a Globex VWAP and a mid. So then there'll be some other can be some other prices along here. I mean, only driven by price. I am a real believer in the KISS principle. It works for me. Price, volume, statistics, or probabilities. Pretty simple. Now, there's not going to be the big pop here that I expected off that news story. That might kick in around in the Tokyo Open. I don't know. And frankly, that's why I had activated the trade control panel. And we're going to go over here real quick like a bunny and make sure that where did it go? Where are you? Come here. Make sure that the hedge is deactivated right there. Okay. And we'll talk about all that later. Just my general advice as a trader and standing in front of these screens for a long time. And this is conventional wisdom from the floor and from before. Trade the contract with the highest volume. Okay? this point, the U contract does have the highest volume in the MES. At the point that the contract volume has definitely moved, I'll delete the ES. I'll unsubscribe to the ES and the MES over here because I don't need those expired contracts pulling into, sucking up bandwidth and CPU cycles and that kind of thing. Sorry, I'm a little disjointed here, but I was ready for a big pop in case. All right, so let's talk about trading now and what we're going to do here. Maybe. I am not, with this kind of light liquidity, I am not at all warm and fuzzy about looking at these trades tonight, but, this is my commitment. So, I do what I say. I'm, kind of like a pit bull, I guess. So, oh yeah, that ought to work. I ought to be dead in the next 5 minutes. My wife's trying to kill me. She's Vietnamese and she thinks it's so cute to come in here with a bowl full of ground up chili peppers or something. Go, here, honey. She's really wonderful. Hey, Panda. Now we got the panda cat coming to say good evening. Hey, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it's Sunday evening. We're just getting here. I about killed myself today with this. Every Sunday I go on a pretty extensive jaunt here. I'm 7 miles today. For me, that's a lot. I'm an old guy. I used to do 7 miles a day running. All right, so let's get back to setting things up, just to keep ticking over here. In order to trade with Bookmap, you need to activate the trade control panel. And the way you do it with the newer version, this is 7.7.0 build 19. You don't select whether you want to trade with the DOM or the chart. You select the account. And in this case, I'm trading Lucid, 5 Lucid evaluation accounts, because I am testing this hedge system. And the only way I can down risk from on my live amp account, which is normal trading, and the micros, is to do this method because it's the lowest risk investment, and I'm still able to trade size and take profits, right? So but with no risk. So that's, how can you beat it with a stick, right? And there we are. That's why the Lucid story. Now we've selected a way we're going to trade. We have the instrument, we have the size in here at 5. This is, if you're familiar with my stream, typically risk neutral trading, you know that I, for years, have used the multi-bracket, which is risk neutral 2-lot, 16 ticks, whatever. And this is the traditional risk neutral methodology, where the minimums trade size or lot size needs to be an even number, so 2 is the smallest. Then you have a stop for both contracts, full stop, and that then dictates the first profit target, which is for half of the package in other words, one contract, and for the same number of ticks as the stop is. Once you've achieved T1, the trade is risk neutral. The worst you can possibly do is scratch, unless you're a donut and you move your stop away from entry. What I'm working on now, and I'm wondering if it's a good idea with this light volume in this Globex ideas, is the hedge philosophy. Now, the hedge is nothing. First, it's important for me to get this into the record. Absolutely never trade without a stop. And I do not. And I never move my stop away from entry, period. So in this case, this would be a 2-lot, size is immaterial. There's the stop, 12 ticks, that's 3 points, right? So the hedge methodology just replaces the stop instead of, in other words, for the hedge to be triggered, it's the stop. It's at the stop level, and I'll show you that in a second. But anyway, turning off multi-brackets because we're not going to use them. We are going to use multi-account trading because we have 5 accounts, and that's how you scale the economy of scale with the payouts and the low cost, the investment. Oh, and I want to do one other thing. I want to make sure that this is, I don't know where the hell this is. I've got to go see this thing and see what this journal is, but I always try to make sure it's correct. All right. And there we have that. So now we're ready to put on a trade should we do so. And we need to do the same setup over here for the mini. Micro, mini. And this is the hedge principle. So we're gonna use the same contract. We're gonna use one contract, not two, one. Let me see something. Where can I put this where I want to make sure that doesn't change to two. Well. Okay, and now once these are set, I can click this again, and the padlock stays open and it stays green, but you get your real estate back. You still do have all the metrics, plus cancel and close. So, I'll explain the hedge in a bit, but now if a trade presented itself, I would be able to uphold my commitment to the stream and trade the hedge. Now this is driving me goofy over here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this data again, and if that doesn't work, I'm going to use I'm going to scrub it. We'll see. But not a crisis. Okay. So what do we need to do now? Well, the trades that we're exploring here, we've got 5 minutes, okay? The trades we're exploring here are the opening range or orb trades. So the first thing we need to look at is a high, the opening range, right? And the low. And what we want to do is we want to understand which one was formed first. And it looks pretty obvious to me. Looking at this is a little bit crazy. Obviously, the opening range low was formed first. That's important with the data. Okay. And I'm sort of just kind of slowly waking up. Well, not waking up. I had a hell of a reaction after after today's 7 miles. Even though I drank a whole 2 liter or gallon and a half of electrolyte or whatever else, man, I tried to lay down after I took a shower and just kind of recuperate a little before this stream, and I started cramping every freaking place. I thought I was going to turn into a pretzel boy. And I don't know what's up with that, but I'm here to tell you that wasn't fun. So I nailed a couple of mic. Oh, it's getting worse now. Yeah, this thing is just all over the place. Let's do, might as well watch how this goes. This is just not getting, let's do this one. And then we'll flip the other one again. This is how you change sessions. No, it's all wackadoodle here, see? So, what are we going to do now? Well, let's look at something else. Oh, baby. These are the minis, not the micros. So, let's try the old change the session thing. There you go. ES wants to play nice, you see. This NASDAQ, the snake is being exactly a snake. Now, you gonna be good? Huh? All right. Well, there we go. So the snake's being a good boy now, over here. Let's save this mess. And go see if something happened on our micros. No. Well, in that case then, we'll show you who's boss. We'll scrub this data. Heavy. Boom. Let's see what that does. Worst to worst, we just, oh, looky there. Isn't that cute how that did that? Now it's correct. Now we're gonna go like this. And like that. Oh, maybe that's the problem. That doesn't make a lot of sense that it's doing that, but okay. Well, there you go. That's the NQ, so that seems to be all right. These are the session prices. We'll let it get its knickers out of a knot here and figure out what's up. Well, we are substantially increased volume on the U's, which is pretty. I will leave this quote page showing both contracts through tomorrow, RTH sometime, and then I will. I typically don't, just to save cycles. Like I just have the quote page for the instrument involved in the tab. But there you go. All right. Let's see now. I'm not waking up. You guys, I'm gonna be dangerous here pretty quick. So, as you know, the opening range breakout is, in my world, it is based on the first hour, exactly the same as the initial balance. I just keep them constant like that. May need to change that for this exercise, but that's what we're working on now. And in doing that, and also to do with some explanation here, in case you're new to the stream, these are the initial IRT, or investor RT, is where I do my statistical analysis and vetting, or verifying that a setup with the specific rules of that setup have a positive edge or expectancy and are statistically viable to trade. Vetted is the term most people use. This is an example of an initial balance trade. And I want to point out that anytime you see something over here, trade-wise, like this, these are actual trades being taken by this system and visualized on this chart. The chart has nothing to do with the system except that it represents exactly the zones and stuff like that. And this is in real time with live data. In other words, forward testing. But because I don't know the outcome, or I'm not sure, this is all done within the IRT simulated environment. So these happen real time. You'll never see a playback or a replay or a rear view mirror, I took a trade over here and I took this trade here and I had a trigger here and I did that. No, none of that crap here, ever. Live real-time trades or nothing. Simple. So that's how this works. And now this is a trade. This is a setup. Here's an example of that exact thing. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. This is an example of that, the exact example that happened during the RTH session Friday. These are the zones. Now this is basically the data that we're going to be looking at tonight and on these Globex trades. This is in the RTH session. So this is Friday. This trade was taken here. There's the outcome. But again, traded within the simulated environment because it's in the verification phase, right? This is the strategy that's being plotted out over here. But it's not going to the, my live data either Lucid or my AMP account because I'm not confident about that. These are the, remember I said at the setup that sometimes I'll push into Bookmap, you'll have these zones. Well, I normally push them from IRT. These are an example. On this one, if I'm trading this one, these levels are pushed, but I haven't set that up for these Globex ones. Now, on that note, where is Globex? I don't see Mr. Globex here anywhere, do you? Okay, there we go. So there we are. Now, here's where we closed. And here is current price action. Now, this will continue to plot. This is the full session chart. This will plot Asia, London, and US. Chicago. This is where we are. I can use these levels. So it's 75.40, 75.68 to determine, well, let's see if we're right. What did we get? Oh, 68. Oh, look at there. 75.40. Wow. Now, so what I'm doing in lieu of these actual indicators that I would push across is I'm just using these lines. There's a vertical. I always put blue boy on. Now I've got the high, I've got the low, and then when we have the end of the first 1 hour, I will put that zone mark, and then we see if we get the statistics for the opening range breakout. Okay, that takes us then to, drum roll please, the data. And what I'm doing here is using, in order to try to save myself, let me best explain that. I'm an old cowboy from Montana. I am not a young gen something or another coding wizard, right? So these kind of things, this one in particular, which was one of the first, took me a long time to code this up properly so that it did what I thought it was going to do when I thought it was going to do it, or I wanted to. And then I can backtest these stuff. This is where the backtests come from. And I have, I'll show you all that backtest stuff in a second. But anyway, so the point is I'm trying to lighten my struggle with, or my workload with coding. I mean, think about it. My objective is not to be a code monkey for backtesting. It is to trade. This is my virtual trading. This is my trading business, consistently profitable trading business. Okay? So what I'm trying to do is lighten my load, and that's why I'm leaning on Edgeful now to see if that works. So let's look at the opening range trades. Okay, and the first thing we need to do now is go to Asia, Globex, and this will be, oh, wrong one, 7 p.m. I need the other one. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I need this one up here. Where's the 7 a.m.? Yeah, here we go. This is Asia, right? So this is 8 o'clock in the morning in Tokyo. Because we need to be able to look at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There's no Sunday around here anymore. So, and we're trading for Monday. So that's why we need this one. And I think that's correct. Pretty sure. So let's look at this for the MES, which is what we're trading. And this will be interesting. This is something I didn't think about. How they must not work on rolls. They work just on the general contract and they work and a continuous contract. So here's our time frame. We're going to have the orb time frame is for 1 hour, 8 to 9. 8 to 9, right up here. And this is Monday. So we have a 38% probability we'll have a breakout, which is to the upside. A 19% probability we'll have a breakdown, which is the short side. And then a 42% probability we'll catch them both on Monday. Tuesday. Look at that. Huh? Ooh, baby, all over the board. Now, so we know these. So we know these probabilities pretty well. What we're going to look at next is the retracement or the rejection. What this says is if the opening range high was formed first, well, it wasn't. The low was formed first. And why is this saying 30 minutes here? Hold the phone. Got to change that one. Oh, I know why. I was looking at the IB30. So hold on. Oop-de-doo. Ending days all. Friday we want Monday. There we go. So 1 hour, 8 o'clock in the morning. IB low formed first. We have a 72% probability that we're going to break out the IB high. What's it looking like to you? We got 10 minutes to go, and there's the IB high. Now, the next thing that we'll need to do is we'll need to put in the ending zone. And we'll do that only after the 1 hour has completed. Here is, when you subscribe to Edgeful, you get a really interesting thing, which I was didn't really know about, which is Trading View. And part and parcel of the subscription is all of these indicators come with your subscription to Edgeful for Trading View, which are really handy, I think. So here is ETH, okay. Here is okay, micros, New York, London, Asia, and the Globex. Now, I don't know why, to be honest with you. I'm not, what the hell is this? I don't know what that little thing, contract switch. Oh, man, they do roll them. Look at this. We want to roll them, we want to roll to the use. Look at there, they roll their contracts. Well, isn't that cute? I didn't know that, I had no idea that they were. I'm really surprised at this program, and it is really handy, I gotta tell you. So, here is where we closed her, and here's where here's our open, and there is our opening range low in place first, opening range high, and here we are trading. Now these zones are 25, 50, 25 from the bottom or 75 from the top, how you look at them. Okay, and that's the next thing that we're going to input over here when we get, we're 5 minutes, so we can do that now, okay? Let's get to Electric Avenue. All right, let's get to, where am I? This one, okay. And let's use the hedge tool, which is right over here. And so we have 68 and 67.40. So we have 75, 68. Hi, Panda. I know you're rubbing on me. I'm trying to do something here. 75, 60, 40. Okay. Now, what that's done is that's confirmed our 28-point range. Here's our percentages. 75, 61. So let's get over here and drop a horizontal line on 75, 61. There's one. 75, 61. And 75, 54. Well, what a coincidence. 50% is right on 50%. Isn't that cute? Don't you love it when a plan comes together? And 57.47. So there are our zones. Okie dokie. Yep. And we have $1 high, which is cool. I like that. Blue Boy's bashful over here. And in another couple of 3 minutes, the zone, this will be active, and we'll need to decide if we're going to take a trade or not. Now, the way this works is, statistically, you don't front run them. You use the edgeful data right here, and we have a 72% probability we're going to take that. We're going to take the opening range high, and that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Right there. So we're going to go up here and take that out. Good probability in a couple of minutes. 3 minutes. But I'm not going to front run these ever, especially in this opening range breakout. That's not the point. The point is to determine if they are offering opportunities for trading. This is by rejection. So the next important piece is the retracements. So if the opening range is broken out first, make sure all the custom stuff is right. Yep. Okay, yeah, right. So, assuming that the opening range high is broken first, breakout is up long, breakdown is short. There's a 50% probability, 54% probability price will retrace to the 25 zone. 32% it'll retrace to the 50. What does that mean? Well, that means that assuming price does what is expected, 73% probability will break the high. Then there is a 54% probability it will retrace to the 25% zone. A 33% probability it'll retrace to the 50. What I'm trying to establish now, and using the other levels and VWAP, etc., is to interpolate the difference of those, right? 54 to 30. So what do you got? Basically 22 points or 23 points, right? Difference, percentage points. So do you split the difference? I'm just throwing these out here. I'm thinking live, right? Because this is my stream, my virtual trading journal. So one of the things I may or may not have forgotten or remember to point out, everything that I watch on the video is, that's on my screens is captured in the video. My voiceover provides insight as to what I was thinking at that moment. So this is how I get the whole journal in the recording. Hold on, I'm hearing something from the boss. Well, we're going to have this in place in a couple of minutes here. Well, 30 seconds. Wait a minute. And as soon as we do that, then I'll put this other line and we'll know where the opening range is. And they're bringing it back down here. Now, some people would front run this thing because there's a 73% probability we're going up here. So they would front run it. And the one last thing that we need to put in here is the ending zone. And it's not in the retracement, that's in the rejections. We need to put in this ending zone, and how you determine that is best described, I think, on TradingView. Here's the orb level put in first. That's the low. So the way you assign the percentages to the ending zones are opposite. You start opposite the first level. So this is 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 100. Where the ending price, the closing price of the candle at the end of the opening range breakout, which in this case is 1 hour, is the zone. So in this, if price is right here where it is going to be, it is already, there's our closing zone. There's our closing zone is the 25 to 50. So we have the one last component, and that's right here. We come over here and we do the old customization number again. You see the text, 25 to 50. Boom. Now that'll change the stats. Now we have 50-50. Now there's a 50-50 on whether the opening range high or low is going to break first. See how that changed? Based on that probability. So it's building layers of or refining the statistic. So now we can, let's say which one we're going to do. Let's go back down here to retracement. If it breaks out the high first, oh, well, it's nearly the same. If it breaks the high first, it's 54%. If it breaks the low first, it's 64% and 42. So I can tell you what I'm going to do is absolutely not front run it. I would look at this data and I would look at the price and say, looks to me like we're a hell of a lot closer to the high. So I might lean that way. But I would not front run this even a little bit. And now I'm going to step aside for 1 minute and see what Mom is up to. What a miss. What a miss. Nothing. Okay. Now remember, 50%. And I put this line here at the 50% zone. This is obviously the mid, which is, guess what, 50%. But I am a remiss little pig, and I didn't put the vertical line at 1800. There. Okay. Sometimes, if price moves away, this is not going to be on the 50% of the opening range anymore. So that's why I always put the 50 in there and I don't just lean on the 50%. So the opening range breakout is hot on the Globex. Whether we're going to get anywhere or not, who the heck knows? And I am going to, we'll just sit here and see what happens. And then at 1900, we will have the Tokyo Asian session, the official Asia session, which is right here. Last Friday. There you go. Pretty cool, huh? I'll tell you this, TradingView is the slickest thing. It's so much easier to deal with and do our higher level, scrolling around stuff than like IRT. It's just not even close. Not even close. I'm going to see what's going on. I'll be right back. Well, I tell you, I don't know how I got so lucky to have a partner like Ying. Incredible. Let's see what's going on. Is the music? Okay. Yeah, so we're just going to fluff around there's a lot of, I knew some floor traders that had switched to the charts after the floors closed, who they wouldn't trade rollover week. And some wouldn't trade the key weeks in earnings, what's just because it was too volatile and, well, I'm just going to trade where I make my money. It's not about standing here. Well, there's a real problem humans have that is important to, let me see if I even have a hotkey for that. I think I do. Thank you. Ooh, thank you.
You look for wasabi.
Yeah, I see where the wasabi. Thank you. Ooh, baby, thank you very much. I'm coming out there in a minute. I'll be right out. Don't worry. Okay, let me put this in the thing over here. Forget about these chapter markers at night. There is a misconception by a lot of people in it. I think it's what feeds into the overtrading. There is no relationship between effort and result in trading. Many other things, days work for days pay, grew up on a ranch working can to can, you know what I mean? All that stuff. That's absolutely not the case. In fact, a real strong work ethic, which I happen to have, can be a real detriment in trading. You have to really be conscious of finding an opportunity, and that's why I'm really a real stickler about the statistics, because it's a pre-vetted trade with a statistical edge, and I want to use the same business plan, business model as the most successful traders in the world and the casinos. And that's what it is. It's the law of large numbers and probabilities. So, but a lot of traders succumb to I'm in front of my screens, I got to trade. There's no correlation between effort and results in trading. Now, doing your homework, sure. It's like the old adage, luck is when opportunity meets preparation, and that's true. But doing your homework and statistics and vetting things like writing that code and everything, that's different. And you look and you hope that there is a return on that investment of time and labor and effort. But it's really important not to fall in that that idea and be aware of it. Now let's see what we got going here. A little sushi, sashimi. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, look at that. Speaking of that, what I was just talking about with, risk to reward, my definite euphemism for this is, my mouse go. My euphemism here is retail soup, Can you imagine all the people trying to trade this thing? Just jumping in a blender. Need to go. having done this for a couple of weeks now, this will be the third week. There's a pattern starting to develop, which I need to be really aware of. Not now with the Globex, because at 1900, then I take all these lines off, and that's over with as far as I'm concerned. But what if I'm in a trade? And I have to be real aware of Asia, or the Tokyo session, because I'm not staying up till 5 in the morning to manage the trade. So I need to have a pre-thought target in my mind, and typically the target that is oftentimes thought of, that I oftentimes think of, in a way to handle that, which certainly doesn't fall in the category of let your winners run, but is to have the opening range values be the higher the target based on the pullbacks, and because I'm only entering on the retracements, if that makes sense. For example, price trades up, takes the IB high. Remember, we have 70. Oh no, now it's 50-50. That we take the higher the low. And what was it, 45 and 35 or some damn thing? Well, depending on which it is, but let's say it breaks the high. There's a 50% probability we get to the 25%, and there's a 32% we get to 50. So assuming an entry around the VWAP, maybe the VPOC, I always have to make sure that there's enough meat on the bone to get to the target, and the target being the opening range. Nobody says you're going to get there, but rather than, several levels or standard deviations above it, which would be more the case during the day. And the way I kind of look at it is, so what have we got? 68, 61. So there's basically 7 handles between these percentage zones. Is that enough meat on the bone for a trade? And I guess under the circumstances with the multi-account trading, and that it's an opening range, in the Globex, that's, I think, how I have to recalibrate my expectations. Plan your trade and trade your plan. And these are things that this is what I'm doing now. Not only vetting the statistics, but trade management. In advance. None of this is going to be, I don't do whipping and spurring, gunslinging, anything. Then this is how the trading view indicator. You see the zone, opening range zone. Here we are. Statistics. So slick, this thing. Oh, and you know what I forgot? Oop-de-doop-de-doop. What a dummy. I don't know what I forgot. Got to turn on the dashboard. Watch up here in the upper right corner. Oh, look at there. 28 points. The low was formed first. Has not been broken. See? In that cube. And free. I mean, part of the deal. Part of the subscription. They've got an add-on that will be the next step. I can show some screen snaps of it. I was able to test drive it for a while, and it completely replaces all of the back testing in spades. So that's encouraging. Yeah. Well, here we are. All dressed up, no place to go, huh? I find it hard to believe there's so much more trade on the you can really tell where retail's trading, you know, their instruments, because look at the difference in volume on the MNQ U contract and the MES U contract. Double. more than double volume. That's a lot. And that's frequent. I mean, that's usually the case. So it's pretty obvious that I mean, and we know that, right? Anything you see somebody post somewhere, somebody does this, somebody does that, is the NQ, is the NQ, is the NQ. I guess they are leaning on the amount of volatility, right? And I guess they're able to convert that to cash. Friday was a pretty okay day. About 83 or 4, something like that, 82 or 3 ticks. It's probably a good idea to talk about what I'm doing in general terms here and the point of the stream. This stream is a journal of my trading business based on statistics, probabilities, and the effort, consistently profitable. A business to rely on myself, take care of my family, It's not a video game. It's not an adrenaline rush. And it's not gambling. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of those things if that's what you know that you're doing and you're okay with that. I mean, look at all the people that go to, well, I guess nobody goes to Vegas much anymore. They're closing down hotels and whatever else, but, go to casino towns or wherever I don't know what's hot now, but it used to be Las Vegas. Reno, Atlantic City, I guess. It's fine. But that's not the point here or the goal. The goal is to develop a statistically driven, consistently profitable business. And it happens to be around trading. So I didn't just come up with this theory about how to conduct this business on my own. It is the business model recognized and applied by the most successful traders in the business that have ever been. Dick Simmons, Paul Tudor Jones, Ed Thorpe, Tom the Trader, Tom B in the Trader's Lab, Rod. I mean, and it's very simple. Typically, we are operating in a random environment. You can't predict where the market's going because, first of all, it's a statistical fact that the outcome of the next trade is 50-50. It can only tick up or down. And there are millions of traders expressing an opinion on it at any one time. Look at the volumes. And another thing that's important to recognize is that in trading, this is a zero-sum business, right? And it's impossible in futures trading to have more sellers than buyers or vice versa. We trade contracts. Requires one of each. When I go long, I'm convinced it's going up, and the counterparty to that trade is convinced it's going down. That's that. So what you do is you identify something that happens frequently, a setup, and you identify the specific rules to justify the entry for that setup, and then you code it up and you backtest it, or somehow you backtest that and you come up with the statistics, just like I was talking about over here, right? And you can backtest that. You can backtest it like this. Looking back 100 days instead of 500. I used to do 500 all the time, but got to thinking it doesn't make much sense. 500 days ago, do I think a strategy would be the markets are the same as now as they were 500 days ago? I'm probably not. So, backtest. The computer just evaluated each one of these rules over every 30-second bar back 100 days. 46,350 bars. Took 3 seconds. Net profit was $5,000. 179 trades. Max favorable excursion was 246. Adverse was $70. 179 trades, 121 winners, highest winner, average winner, 37 stops, at highest stop, average stop. Win rate of 3.27. Pretty good. Now, there's 17 consecutive winners and 5 consecutive losers. Also very good. And if you want to be real, precise about it, as you should be, this is each one of 172 trades. The exact date and time, entry type, exit types, outcome, long, short, contract price, etc. And that's the kind of data you need to verify whether you have a statistically significant setup or not. And the thing that I do on top of that is go right over here. Each one of these lines is a backtest with all of the data, win-loss, here. Days, trades, wins, average win, loss, average loss, scratch, win rate, loss rate, expectancy, R factor, risk to reward, profit factor. Trades per day, MFE, MAE, consecutive winners, losers, long, short, gross, commission, net, and you can do sharp ratio, Latino, and everything else. That's vetting a trade. That's how you know if you have a trade that's worth taking. And I believe that. And let's get back over here. So that's what I'm in the process of doing. And after you've done that, then after you've done that work and you know that trade, like this one right here, then every time that the specific rules here present themselves in the live market, you take the trade and you rely on the law of large numbers to manifest that expectancy to your account. It's the exact business model of a casino. They don't gamble at all. They have pre-identified the probability or the expectancy for every game they have. Then on the casino floor, they play that game with those specific rules Their only job is to play that game as many times in 24 hours as they can. That's why there's never any emotion by those guys. They're not there to, they don't care who wins or loses. They just want to see how many times they can do it, because they know the law of large numbers will manifest that expectancy to the bottom line. And that's ought to be pretty obvious how successful that is. So that's what this is. That's what this stream and my trading's about. And now, let's see where the hell we are. Well, we're coming up on, we got 19, remember 1900 Central Standard Time, remember? So 1900, we're going to have the, Globex is going to wind down and we're going to Tokyo. There's the session open. There's the opening range period, 1 hour. High, 25, 50, 25, bottom, low. Yeah, there you go. So that's it. That's the point of this stream, and this is just, as I said, this Globex edition is just a, I want to identify if there's any, or, investigate if there's any interesting opportunities in these Globex sessions, and I will never take, I have a commitment to never take a trade off the stream. So the only way for me to do that and be standing here ready to trade is to be streaming. The normal risk neutral trading stream is every Central Standard Time, every trading day morning at 8 o'clock. Pre-market, set up the software, identify the statistics for that day, analyze the pre-market, take a look at the reports of the news, and then they open it at 8:30, and it trades, and we stream continuously until 1500, which is the cash close. Oh, there we go. All right. So where the hell are we? Right where we were when I left. Okay. And I'm really not expecting anything to happen, to be honest with you. I didn't even imagine Tokyo. I was kind of expecting that there'd be some movement on that news, but maybe everybody has come to think that we need to verify the news first. They're agreeing that something's going to happen. I don't know about this sign everything on Friday stuff. No, they're saying that it's going to be published after the official signing, so. Good. Well, then, I mean, I don't care who you support or what you think, but the end of a war is good. Absolutely. I'm 100% in that camp. And it's important. It is important in this case to remember that 4 months ago, there wasn't a war. There was no issue or drama in the Straits of Hormuz. There were no supply chain issues. There was no shortage of fertilizer. There was no shortage of oil. But, irregardless, that's a different story. What's the good story today is that it's going to be over. Apparently. I'm real curious. You notice that one party has been real quiet on all this, and that's Netanyahu. I'm real curious to see that reaction. And let's hope Trump was right when he said he doesn't have anything he's not calling the shots. I'm calling the shots, and they're gonna do whatever we agree. I can't hardly believe that went down well, but let's hope so. Huh? Again, absolutely great. And I was expecting on that news that there was going to be some positive movement, and there may well be in Tokyo. We'll see. Wow, 117,000 contracts traded on the MNQs. Only 47,000 traded on the MES. I'm talking about the U contract. Oh man. What am I doing now? I was thinking of something and I got all confused. Well, this thing is going to come to a screeching halt in about 4 minutes here. if they make a run on it, but I'm not going to take a trade here now at this point because we're crossing over into Asia. So, you know, that's something I've got to definitely understand my thought process around that. And maybe it becomes a possibility that I just don't deal with this Globex and look at Asia. And today is certainly not a representative day to look at anything. Okay, there's the end of that one. Boom, boom. Well, let's leave the high on there and see what happens if these kids get all excited and run it up here. But I'm not going to know what to think about it now. Let me... 4 minutes. So they're going to take out the high and pull her back. I don't want to be in a trade. I suppose I could conceivably be in a trade for the next hour because that would give the opening range for the Tokyo session to set up. I guess. Maybe that's the method I'll use going forward. Or say the next 30 minutes, maybe. Well, in any case, we got about a minute and a half left, so that's not enough time to break out, retrace. I'm going to do this right here. Okie dokie. Now we have the Blue Boy is always on the first print of every session. No question about it. And then at 1900, it will be the opening print for Asia. And that can be verified right over here. And I'll need to change the statistics from the from Globex to Asia. And I'll need to set this back up again with the new zone and everything. There we go. I'll clean off these. Oh, wait, those are correct. I'm at retracement. Okay. I'm on the wrong part of town over here. So back to all days. Monday is correct. And we're going to change the range here in 15 seconds. Oh, yeah, whatever. All right, now we can do the stats for Asia on a Monday. Wait a minute. Let's go this way. So there we are. 40, 30, 20. Monday. Rejection. So let's see which one forms first. And let's put Put Blue Boy to work over here. There we go. And now you see Asia starting to print. I will change these around. And here we go with Asia. Isn't that cute? Well, you can see that the first level is the low so far. Why is that? We're going up. How long is it going to last? Probably not very, but you know, there's the beginning of the session, and that's the direction we're going. And now something that you need to I should probably explain over here is these are 5-minute bars. So this first 5-minute bar is just going to flip and flop up and down around here, and then the next bar will set probably the opening range high, meaning then that the opening range low will likely be the first to be in place. Over here on Bookmap, it's a whole different, kettle of fish. And look at this liquidity parked at 65. I'm sure we're going to get up there and tag that out. And remember that this is the opening range, ETH high and low. This is the range so far tonight for the ETH session or the Globex session. So there you go. This may be a futile exercise. I'm doing this because I know somebody that says or I know of somebody that says they take these trades regularly and do quite well. I will also say that they typically focus on the Qs, which is the NASDAQ. So, that may well be a big portion of it because, as we all know, or I hope you all know, that a lot more volatility, The Globex trade here was 28 handles, right? Let's see what our old friend NASDAQ's up to. Well, it's 394. Just excuse me. Just the Asia session so far is 56 handles. So this is about 300 handles across here. Look at, we never even got remotely close up here. So I can understand why they're probably, and 56 handles on the NASDAQ and 6 handles so far on Tokyo. So I'm assuming that volatility is factoring in. Could also factor your ass into the poorhouse too, but it's risk. You got to manage your risk. Sorry, I'm on mute. Yeah. So we've got the orb low. That's been confirmed over here. And also over there. Wait a minute, what's this say? It says 57.5. No, quarter, okay. Same as we have here. This is trading. You know, it's not fun, exciting. If my trading is I start to notice adrenaline or excitement, then I know I'm doing something wrong. Frankly. Well, let's see. We're coming up on the bottom of the hour. I suppose they're going to get through this low volume zone and back down here to test some of this stuff. Let's put a high over here and see what happens. 74, 75, 75. No, 74, 75. Yep. $75.02 half. Yeah. Well, how fun is this, huh? Okay, 30 minutes down. We got 30 minutes to go. And this is yeah. This volume was so slow. I thought we were frozen here. And we're probably going to take this high and push it up. Because we're, just chugging higher. Taking the stairs, my friends. Trying to get all my old chores done here because I'm tired after that walk on my. Get to bed early. Remember that it's really important to make sure you're well rested, well hydrated, healthy, exercise. This is a really competitive business we're in. Welcome to the stream. If you're just lurking about, that's cool. Like and subscribe. That's even cooler. What all the cool kids are doing. Trying to I really was expecting, of course, this is rollover. I don't want to belittle that. Notice down here, this rollover, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I think I did this already, but let's do it anyway. I thought I had done that, but I saw that little thing down there again. I went, oh, I know why. I switched back and forth from the to the NASDAQ to take a look at those points. That's what it was doing. That's why I was there. I bet. Pretty cool. They do roll over and they roll them. And if you're not interpreting what this is all about, this is the closing hour here on Friday. This is the curb trading and that time. This is the cash close at 1500, and then this is 1600. So what that little burp down there is about. And this ought to be. Let's check this out. They better hurry up and do something here. This old cowboy's getting tired. I got stuff to do. Got a couple of things to take care of here. You know, life stuff. Life's what happens while you're making other plans. Remember that? Remember that one? Had an exciting weekend of snaking drains and doing the lawn, and now I gotta quickly switch out a mixer and a shower valve, and you know, fun stuff. Fun stuff. And why is it, I ask you, why does crap always break on a Friday night or a weekend? You know what I mean? Did your drain ever plug up on Monday morning? So you had all week to call somebody or do it yourself, or I do all those things myself because I have a lot of, as a general contractor for quite a long time. But you know what I mean. It's always some last minute holiday deal. Seems like. Well, this is about as much fun as you can have with your clothes on, I think, isn't it? Just standing here like this, watching this thing barely bob up and down. And this is a really, really good example of trading. This is trading. Anticipating a setup and waiting for it. Period. Don't make them up. And this is going to be a consolidation to break out and retire. If that's a vetted setup you have, great. If it's not, your job as a trader is to stand there here and wait for your setup. And if it doesn't happen, guess what? No trade. Now I'm getting to the point where, as I said earlier, especially Sunday night and in view of the weekend activities, I don't want to get into a trade here that's going to wander on into the middle of the night. So I have to start already thinking about what I would do. Will I take them off? First of all, is there enough range within the IB zone or the OB zones to justify the risk? And the proposed targets? Right now, we've got 17 handle risk, 17 and a half handles. That's four points. Best visualized here, I guess. 17 and a half handles, so essentially 4 points. Well, that's not enough risk. That's not enough meat on the bone, or, risk to reward. Assuming that we take a breakout, pull back to the 50, that's only 8 handles so far. That doesn't justify putting that risk on, I don't think, and especially the possibility of being locked in for me tonight. The volume is really filling out. Look at this, we're up to 166,000 now. On the U contract, way out in front of the M. That's pretty amazing. I will tell you that I've never really paid that much attention in this early hour of the Globex, but these numbers start at 1700 today and will continue through 1600 tomorrow. So representative of the full Globex or, session. Representative. They better hurry. We've got 20 minutes here. I think I could probably go to bed and still be doing this in the morning. So, we take a little run around the roses here. There's the book map. IRT. That vetted setup. My new toy. Gonna be over with here pretty quick. And the probabilities. Now the thing that we're gonna need to do is the ending range, ending zone statistic, and that'll make all the difference here. Once again, the easiest way to explain that is each one of these zones 25% of the total. You start with the first level that was formed of the opening range, which is here. And it'll tell you that in a minute. And then so if the opening range low is formed first, you start naming you assign percentages to the zones 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 55 to 75, 75 to 100. Depending on, and that is assigned then by the closing price of the opening range, which in this case is 1 hour. Well, I try to use that headset and listen to the music and hear myself talking, and I can't do it at all. That's my desk here, my trading desk is completely quiet. No speakers. The music sort of distracts me, but most importantly, my voiceover. So we're going to be done here in 10 minutes. What I was getting at then was the ending zone will be determined by the closing price of the last bar within this first opening range time period, which in this case is set for 1 hour. Same way with the opening, with the initial balance in the mornings in the RTH. Same thing. Typically what I'm doing here is on these Globex streams is that I'll run it till about 8:30, about 20:30. That will give 30 minutes on the Tokyo opening range. Well, it's kind of like watching the grass grow. Huh? This is all a part of doing the homework. Research. Research sounds more official than homework. Trader Tom and his buddy there, Karaoke Andy, refer to it as research. I kind of like that idea. Panda. How are you? Huh? Are you tired? Do you want to go see Mom? Well, looky here. 8 seconds. So that's kind of a disappointing turn of events there. So looking at our trading view beauty with that little dashboard we've got. In a minute. 17.5 points. The low was formed first. Yeah. There we go. So I'm thinking this is a nothing burger. And the reason for that, my logic is as follows. Assuming they break out and retest, I'm not going to be here that long. I don't want to babysit a trade or manage this trade past 30 minutes. So the price action to me has not been enough to warrant that interest, really. If right now with the scale that we have, if we break out, looking up here, if we break out, retest to 50, it's only 8 points. because these are essentially 4 points apiece, right? 4 and change. So that doesn't sound very appealing. That doesn't sound very appealing to me. Oh. And looks like they're going to break it out now. So we can do the data as we should. Well, the opening range low was formed first, meaning that we have a 70% probability to take the high. And that looks pretty much like a deal. We also need to put the ending zone in, which is hold it. I need to make sure of that. The ending zone is 0 to 24. Even worse. So the ending zone is 0 to 24. Okay, so we have a 83% probability we'll take the high, and a 16% probability that we take the low. Duh, football. So, assuming we break the high first, the retracement ideas are 68% probability we come back to the 25, 37% we come back to the 50. So typically I put the zones in here, but I'm not even going to bother doing that. I'm going to keep my eye on, I'm going to keep my eye right over here. And just, oh, what was all that about? What the hell happened there? What did I just do? Something. Well, that sucks. Oh, I know what I did. I changed it to well, I don't know what I did actually. I pushed the back. Oh, spy. What the hell is this? I don't want that. How'd that happen? Wow. How the hell? I pushed the back arrow and I was on the wrong thing here. That's how I navigate back and forth for the screens between these two primary monitors of mine. My setup here is 2 standing desks and an L. In front of me is a 4-monitor rack, and to the left is a vertical monitor, and then another monitor a little further around. The top 2 monitors on this rack are powered by a third machine or second machine. The trading machine powers the 2 lower monitors and the 1 vertical monitor on the side machine, which has got OBS and stuff on it. So essentially these 2 monitors right here are powered by my trading machine. And how I switch back and forth for OBS is using the arrow monitors. But when I did that, it jumped from here to spy. I'm not sure how the hell that worked, but you know. There you go. There you have it. So I'll watch these. So essentially what we've got here is we've got 17.5 points on the opening range. There's 4 of those, right? So each one of them is about 4 points. 4 and change. If it was 16, they'd be exactly 4. So if it breaks out and pulls back to the 50, that's only 8 points. And not a slam dunk that you're going to get that you're going to get back to the opening range, high or low. So that's what I was trying to say when I got all discombobulated here and got the wrong thing going. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Well, I'm gonna shut the stream off at the bottom of the hour. In any case, I will. If I were in a trade, I would never, obviously, end the stream, because the point of the stream, the commitment to the stream, is to never take any trade off the stream. Well, the trade management to closing the trade is part and parcel of that. And it's just really important to me you will never see a replay. You'll never see a video of a trade. I will never be going, yeah, well, I saw this up here and this is, I got short right here, and never any of that, ever. If there's a trade, you will see it very, very vividly graphed, plotted by Bookmap, and justified by, at the end of the day, by all the data. Here's an example of that from Friday. No. This is how Bookmap plots a trade. This was a execution error. I was trying to click long and I hit a short. I hadn't traded in such a long time, got my fingers backwards. This green line is the break-even line. And stop, target. There you go. In this case, I meant to go long. I realized that I had shorted, so I quickly canceled. Then I was attempting to put the hedge on, so I'm long here. The hedge is triggered here, so now it should be 10 points, but 10 contracts, but only 3 got filled, so I was only in 7. It traded up to here and I took it off. And the hedge hadn't filled either. But the point of this story is, this is how you will see exactly my trades on Bookmap live in real time. And here's the exact analysis of both trades to the millisecond and the outcome of each. Plotted, and this was a snap of the end of the day, real time. And you see the snap right there. So that's how I do it. And frankly, that's what I think anybody that's streaming like this should do it. If someone, any of these guys, even if it's a 2-hour stream and they say, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, where's the live trade? Not the recording, not the playback. Stream it live. If you want to capture and take the live trade out, and make a short video or whatever the hell it is of that. I don't know how to do any of that stuff, and I don't plan to learn, because that's not my point. The point of this, remember, this is my virtual trading journal. Who am I trying to bullshit? Me? Probably not. Tried that. I tried that for a period of my life. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. And so that's that. Got this definite consolidation here. We got a little consolidation right around here. Now there's a trade that some boys are working on and trade frequently. Some good traders, Rod and the guys at Static, called the breakout or the bar trade. breakout and retest. So you have a consolidation, you break it out, you retest. That's actually something that I'm working on vetting right here. I don't think I can show you a sample, but maybe. Okay, yeah, there you go. What I'm trying to define here with this indicator, this coding, is to identify or capture the consolidation, because then the breakout and the retest is easy, but I have to be able to programmatically accurately define the consolidation, like I would be trying to capture this right here, because this is that, right? Then the breakout and the retest is pretty easy to follow through. That's why you don't see any system here, is because I haven't gotten that far, like this. But that's the breakout and retest idea. And it's quite, let me say that the, oh shit, I hope I had the right screen for you there. God damn, I'm so tired. The breakout and replay. There you go. Break. And this is what I'm talking about. The idea is that I have to be able to define the consolidation, and then the breakout and the retest just follows logically. In other words, the way that has to be written is to capture this. Now there's the orb high. Now we can go over here, and you're going to see that, yes, it's been taken on the high side. So our 75% probability, 65% probability, ooh, no, that's not it. Our 83% probability is true. And if I were excited to stay up and trade this, I'd be looking for a pullback between 25 and 50%. Between here and here to go long. I'm not even going to bother putting these zones in here, because I don't think there's 14 minutes, 15 minutes left. I'm not going to enter a trade now. So, the purpose of this stream is to investigate these, if these are interesting opportunities or not. And one thing that's been clearly identified is that especially after a full streaming day, by this time I would be standing here for 12 hours. Well, I'm obviously on and off the desk, go, have lunch, whatever, but streaming for 12 hours, and I start an hour or two before that, so it makes for a long day. And that might be the criteria to cut something short somewhere. So you need to be sure that you've got all the contingencies covered. Every weekend, I don't know if I think I had the mute on. Every weekend on Saturday, I update if necessary and reboot all my machines. And then every Sunday, I set the check for updates paused for 7 days. So there's no surprise reboot BS between now and next Saturday. Next Sunday, and I do the reboots on Saturday. So there you go. Just a little bit of front running. So we're 20 past the hour. We've taken the IB high by just a whisker, probably a red one actually. And we may just, we may go chugging up, and it would be a lovely trade. For example, if you looked at this and didn't look real close, he pulled back to the 20, or damn close to it, to the 25, I'm sorry. Technically, you could call that a 65, a 78, a 68%. Pull back to the 25%, and then 37 to the 50. So I would want to be under the 65s or the 25s. But you could make a case for this. It's not exactly where we did yet. We haven't pulled back to the 25 yet. Maybe we will here. My tired. All right. Well, I'm going to be pretty tickled to button this up, do some chores I've got to do around here, and get my old hide to bed, and get up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and do it again. I'm not sure the ducking is working. While I'm standing here doing nothing. Not sure the OBS ducking is working right on this music, and I'm not sure why. Doesn't seem to be recognizing this Shure microphone from my mixer. I'm not sure what the deal is there. Thought it did, but there I go thinking again. I guess it doesn't matter. Ducking is if the music's playing and I start talking, the volume ducks down on the music side, or whatever channel you have the ducking set on. Worked before. For the longest time, I used a headset. And all of that stuff worked quite fine then. And then I got this mixer and a proper mic, and it doesn't work. It's fine. I don't care. Somebody mentioned the other day that the music wasn't ducking under my voice, so I turned the music down a little bit. And again, I don't hear any of this. It's all silent here on my trade desk. Well, I'll tell you one thing, boys and girls. It's going to be the bottom of the hour, and sayonara. I will be shocked if we don't take out that 78. It's about the only liquidity we've got laying in there. And the 68s are bracketing it. Right here. And right here. So. I've got a few things to do housekeeping wise here after the stream. Set up. I got to schedule the stream for tomorrow on the usual risk neutral trading, 8 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time. Do all the pre-market, set up the software, get the statistics for the session prices based on the statistical open type, and see what the pre-market did, what we expect is going to happen on the open, and kind of get ready. You know, it's about 30 minutes to pre-market and a little homework, or set up stuff, and then the market opens at 8, or the RTH session opens at 8:30, and away we go until 1500. I really appreciate you coming by. It's really great if you leave something, comment or something in the chat. Not much interaction in these Globex hours. A couple of people were for a while, and I suppose they got bored with it. It's not exactly, my streams are not adrenaline-packed, BS-laden streams, I don't take trades which are not previously vetted to have a statistical edge, and I only take them when they set up and trigger. So, as you might imagine then, one of the things I need to do, and I'm aware of this, is have more vetted setups. So I have more trading opportunities through the day rather than just the initial balance, for example. So very definitely I agree, right? The purpose of this is my virtual trading journal to learn from, for me to learn from. It's not, the purpose is not for some entertainment, the entertainment value. Though I would like that to be the case. I would like it to be entertaining, or at least pleasant. Educational would be great. But that's not the point. The point is it's my virtual trading journal as I develop my consistently profitable trading business. So the difference is I only trade live, no recordings, no replays, no BS. Live, absolutely live accounts in the live market for money. And and that's that. And in the case of the situation now, I'm trading the lucid accounts because of it is the minimal return on investment to de-risk while I develop the hedge strategy and still be able to profit, payouts. Otherwise, it's my AMP account with my money and funded by me. right. 1 minute to the bottom of the hour. That will be the end of the stream. Thanks a lot for coming by. I really appreciate it. If you did. And, next time drop something in the chat and let's talk about this. It's important to point out that you need to be focused on being well rested, well hydrated, sharp. This is one of the most highly competitive businesses that you can be in. And so I'm going to drop the stream off here at the top of the hour. I really appreciate you coming by. Take some time, push away from the screens, do some exercise, get a good night's sleep. I will be here at 8 o'clock in the morning, as I am every trading day morning, for the pre-market, the setup, and then the open at 8:30, and continue through the day until 1500. That is the full cash session from 08:30 Central Standard Time until 1500. And then the stream starts 30 minutes before that at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. So have a great evening, and thanks for coming by. And I'm going to shut this bad boy down.